Welcome to the Hashimoto's Doctor podcast. You're now part of a growing community of people determined to take their health back through education and self-empowerment. But because of the healthcare system today, we don't have access to the types of healthcare that we want. So we have to do things differently. We've got to do things smarter, and we do that by becoming our own advocates. This podcast will give you the perspective and thoughts of one of the world's leading Hashimoto's doctors. So let's get started. Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. I hope you're doing well today. In today's podcast, what I want to talk to you about is part 3 of 3. It's our final part or section that we'll be discussing the Hashimoto's Doctor method. This is, if you've listened to the previous 2 podcasts, I've covered part 1 and part 2 that breaks down our 3-part system that we use clinically to help people go from low energy and not feeling well to really thriving and more vibrant health. So this is the framework. So today what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the 3rd phase, which is the repair phase. Now, if you've listened to our previous podcast, you know that the first 2 phases, phase 1 is the detect phase, phase 2 is the remove phase, and then phase 3, this is the repair phase. So this is where things get really more exciting because you start seeing improvement. You start seeing, more significantly seeing improvement as we're working through this phase. And then there is typically a process of refinement. And what that means is, we focus on improving your health, and then we reassess where you are, and then we tweak our plan, and we work that plan, and we constantly, we're peeling the layers of the onion as you're getting better and better. And so this is really one of the keys to improving your health. Is really, that's where my coaching comes into play, and my experiences working with you to make consistent progress as we peel the layers of the onion and continuously refine your program and your diet and your supplementation and your lifestyle approach until we get you as healthy as we possibly can. And then ultimately, what do we want to do? We don't want to take a lot of supplements, right? We want to get back to more of a normal life. We want to focus on how do we maintain our progress? How do we cycle and rotate our dietary approach and really have good, vibrant health without taking a lot of supplements. So I'm not an advocate of taking a lot of supplements long term. Some people do require them, and there's an argument to be made for that. I don't want to talk about that here. I've got other podcasts where I talk about topsoil erosion and nutrient depletion and all that good stuff. But I really try to get people just eating good food. So, okay, phase 3 is the repair phase. Now, what you do in phase 3 is there are 3 steps. Okay, so the last step that we covered in the remove phase is implementation. You implement the dietary, lifestyle, and supplementation recommendations I gave you based on your test results. Okay, you implement. Now, the first phase in the repair phase is reassessment. So in our last phase, what you did was you started implementing your changes, and then we follow up in about 1 month, okay, to see how you're doing. Like, we're going to monitor your progress, right? So you follow up in 1 month, we monitor your progress, we reassess with symptom-based questionnaires, we may order a few laboratory markers to interpret how you're doing and follow up. And then what we do is we take that data and we use it to help us determine how do we need to change your plan? Do we need to change anything? Do we need to stay with what we're currently doing for another month? Or do we need to tweak things? Do we need to move into another phase of care? Do we need to peel another layer of the onion? And so there are typically 3 phases when we go into this refinement. Once we've gathered data, we know where you are, we've assessed, what your current progress is, what kind of progress you've made. We want to redevelop your plan. We want to reassess. And usually that means that we have to put together a new strategy and approach for you that we then follow through again. We tweak diet, we tweak supplementation, and then we implement, and then we reassess one more time. And a lot of times that's typically a 3-phase process. So most people are going to get maximum improvement about 3 to 6 months. That's about normal. About 25% of people will have maximum improvement at 3 months, and about 50% of people will have maximum improvement at 6 months, and then other people, another 25%, require a little bit longer. So I just want to share that phase and those programs with you. If you have any questions, though, that's really the framework that we have to take. If you follow a framework, you never get lost, and that's one of the things that I really like about our system. First of all, it just allows you to understand where you're starting. You can, just visually, we actually have a visual diagram that shows this, and you can kind of see where you are through the process. And it's just very helpful for me. It's helpful to people that are trying to work through and improve their health, to see a framework and understand the process, right? That's so helpful. It really helps you to stay on track and know where you are at all times, and kind of know the process that you may need to go through. So anyway, this isn't a very long podcast today. I just wanted to kind of share this with you, finish up our third part of the Hashimoto's Doctor method. Remember, it is detect, remove, repair. It is follow a framework that is logical, that is founded in an evidence basis in laboratory testing, so that we have quantitative numbers, data. I love to get data that tells me what's going on with people, because so many people are just grasping at straws for what's wrong. And there's really nothing that is nothing like getting numbers and more information to help you make decisions, so that you can have the best chance to get your health back. But anyway, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. As always, it is my mission to help change your life. If we can change your life in a positive way, that's going to have a positive impact on your family, your community, and ultimately we're going to change the world this way. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me or my team if you have any questions. And I look forward to talking to you again on the next podcast. Thanks. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed hanging out behind the scenes with Dr. Shook. You can also talk with and learn from Dr. Shook through Facebook Live on our Facebook page at the Office of Dr. Brad Shook. Don't forget, you can also get access to our videos, guidebooks, and thyroid programs at www.drbradshook.com. Oh yeah, and don't forget one more thing. We can change the world one person, one family, and one community at a time. Until next time, remember, today is your day, and no one will tell you who you are and what you can be.